Hey, bonsoir, mesdames et messieurs. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the live Q&A following the world premiere of Cody Calahan's The Oak Room at Fantasia Virtual. You were the first audience in the world to see this film. Now to discuss it with us tonight, we have a fantastic array of talent. Please welcome to the virtual Fantasia stage, as it may be, director Cody Calahan, writer Peter Genoway, actors Peter Outerbridge and RJ Mitte, actor and producer Ari Millen, producer Chad Archibald, cinematographer Jeff Maher, and composer Steph Copeland. Greetings, everyone. Cameras are slowly coming up. Yeah. Everyone's in Chad's square, by the way. In case you're wondering where half those names are, wait till Chad's video comes back. Chad, activate your video. There! Look at that. Can you tell that he's a producer? Look at this backyard contraption he's built. It's wonderful.
This is the Oak Room.
It's for the pickup shots of the Oak Room, right? So congratulations, everyone. It's a beautiful film.
Thank you.
And where to begin? I guess the fact, let's start right off the bat, that it's an adaptation from Peter Genoway's play, but that was a one-act piece. Do you want to discuss a little bit about what it took to adapt it to the screen?
Yeah, sure. Well, the first thing is that when I met with Cody, the director, I mean, he had a vision of how we could bring this to life and bring it to the screen. And it involved sort of expanding a lot of the characters and the storylines and the stories within the stories and like the linking scenes. So it was sort of bringing a lot of cinematic devices to, you know, what already worked with the play.
Cody, do you want to expand on that?
Yeah, I mean, Ari Millen, who was also in the play, who played Michael in that, who also plays Michael in the movie.
Yeah, is he not there tonight? Because initially he was coming. Oh, there you are. Okay, perfect. You're just way in the back of frame. Okay.
Doing the social distancing, so.
That's right.
Clearly.
We're Canadians. We believe in science.
Sorry, we are in each other's bubble. Yeah, we're always together. So,
no offense to RJ. No offense to RJ.
None.
Okay.
Oh yeah, serious. But yeah, okay. So I'm a big fan of single location films, particularly thrillers, and I love the location of the tavern that you guys had for this. First, was it a practical location or was it a set?
It was a set. Both bars are actually one set that got like redressed over 2 days?
Yeah, so we had about 2 weeks to actually build the Oak Room set. Then we shot there for 3 days, and then we had about 48 hours to tear it down, turn it into another bar, and be ready to shoot. But literally, it was like when we started shooting the Spruce Tavern, we were pointing in one direction while people were painting walls, putting stuff up in the background. Like
That's
it was
crazy.
It was nonstop.
And like the detail is really remarkable, and also the way it's lit, because a lot of these shots, I mean, you can see that there's texture and lighting going very, very deep into the spaces. So for a non-practical location, yeah, that's a DP question. Jeff, do you want to talk a bit about how you approach lighting these sets? And did you build these sets specifically with the lighting in mind? I imagine you would have. By the way, welcome back, Jeff. It's been like 6 years, I think, 5 years.
Good to see you, brother.
Good to see you.
Cool. Sorry, what was the question?
Your approach to the lighting of these sets. The fact that like the lighting is seen so deep into the shots. I mean, it's a beautifully lit, it's a beautiful design for lighting for these types of locations. And the fact that it's not practical makes it even more impressive in a lot of ways.
Yeah. I mean, I think the challenge was certainly like we shot the first bar and we tried to create a look. And then when the second bar was created, it was sort of, how can we create something that's still like bar lighting, but unique? Mm-hmm. So I think the first bar, we really motivated lighting from outside, from the light that would come through the windows.
That makes sense.
And the second bar, we really motivated it from the lights that would be in the bar. And it was just sort of a trick that we created to sort of make each location unique.
No, it works beautifully.
Yeah.
Remember when you had to make the Jeep? You know, set the two lines up you had to do it outside as the car was passing by.
Oh yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah. Indeed. Yeah, no, it was we only had 2 or 3 people in the lighting crew. Actually, my son Nico Davis was part of the lighting crew.
Fantastic.
So
Let's give him a little way.
So we kept it all in the family.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
RJ, Peter, do you want to talk a bit about your approach to the roles, to the characters, and how much you informed the final screenplay in the end?
Well, I mean, RJ, do you want to go first? I don't.
Nah, that's all you.
Like, not touching this.
I didn't. I had nothing to do with the final screenplay. What Peter wrote was like brilliant, and what showed up for me to read was absolutely compelling. So,
So you stuck to the page. That's all. Because I mean, it's so you just stuck to the page. Because both of you embody these words so beautifully.
Oh no, I mean there was
organically.
Nobody went any way. I mean, I guess I can't remember, but I imagine what usually happens on set is that if there was something in the dialogue that had to be changed for some sort of physical reason.
Oh sure, yeah.
We would sit around and go, well, we might have to change the words. I'm going out this door instead of that door, but. I don't know. We didn't change anything that was from
right.
And the script is so beautiful and it really is about compelling storytelling and that's what drew me to it. As far as approaching the character,
It's second nature.
Well, yeah, yeah, thanks, because I am an asshole and a cranky old man. Is that what you're saying? Thank you, RJ. Yeah, no, I think really what it came down to was that there is a backstory there. That is, I guess you could say, solvable if you wanted to solve it, but it's not the most important thing. What's important is really how these people are feeling and experiencing one another, right? So, I talked to Cody about it, and I said, do I want to know the backstory? And he was like, yeah, I can tell you the backstory. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to know the backstory. You guide us as we go along. You tell us where you want the audience going, and we'll create our own backstory because the backstory is never revealed. Mm-hmm. So if the backstory is never revealed, we can come up with whatever we need to come up with to get us to a point to guide the audience to the ending of the film, right?
And I feel like the body, the environment, you were talking about the environment earlier. I really felt like that altered everything for us when it came to where we were, like our placement of like just how we said things to each other, just the distance between each other, and really we stuck to the script. There wasn't any differences from what they gave us to what we did. The only thing is the intentions that we put behind them in the places that we were. And there were some times where we would get really intimate and close to each other. And then there was times where we were separated and kind of that first interaction of the distance between me and Peter when I first walked into the bar cloaked to then intimately the whole time, and then breakaways of both separating. It, like a play, it was a dance.
Yeah. I mean, I may have added more swearing.
Here and there.
That was all you, Peter.
Yeah, that was all me. That was my genius. There was to just say "fuck" as many times as I possibly could.
That's right.
Before Cody would say, "You don't need to say fuck there." Okay.
At a certain point, this becomes a punctuation groove.
Fuck level, he could only have so many fucks, but
you can only have so many fucks.
You can only have so many.
Is there the Black Fawn fuck jar at the corner of the set? Yeah.
That's how we fund our movies, really.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Much of the film deals with the relationships between men and their fathers. Cody, Peter, would you like to speak to that?
Peter Genoway, you want to know about the relationship between me and my father, or?
I think
that's probably more a Peter Genoway question.
Yeah, I got to go Peter G or Peter O, I think, to make this make sense. Yeah. But yeah, sorry, absolutely. I meant to the writer.
Yeah, that was something that sort of in the original draft of the play, like slowly evolved in terms of the characters. It seemed as if the relationship between the characters and their fathers, it seemed to be echoed in all of the relationships of all the various characters. So I just kind of, once I recognized that was happening in the writing, I kind of leaned into it and tried to explore it even further. So I think that's part of what gave the story its kind of its depth and its heart.
Yeah, I would agree. And in a weird way, it intersects with the pregnant sow, which is one of the most disturbing aspects of the film. Really hard. I mean, it's so powerful. Do you want to speak to that?
I
feel like you're the only one that I could actually question on that topic.
So you went from fathers to pregnant sow?
No, not specific. I mean, in terms of a thorough line to family in some way or another. But yeah, I mean, a little abstract.
Yeah. It's a bit of a jump, but I mean, yeah, I think the thing that gets us invested in stories is really being deeply connected to the characters. And, you know, the actors talked about, like, you know, backstories and intentions, and it's always, you know, rooted in family relationships and family histories. So I think that's something that I dug into with all of these characters.
Cool. Now, Cody, this is the first time that you, or really the Black Fawn, have made a film like this. I believe this is Fantasia's 10th time world premiering a Black Fawn film.
Number 10. Number 10.
That's insane. Where did it? What?
10 world premieres.
It's crazy where the time goes. But this is the first time that we've launched a Black Fawn film quite like this. And I mean, it's a fantastic step for you. And I just want to know what compelled you to go in this direction, and is it where you want to continue to explore?
Yeah, I mean, I think we gravitate towards stuff that sort of challenges ourselves, and we sort of got on a run of making maybe a certain kind of movie, sort of kind of high genre horror stuff. And then, I mean, for myself, I took like a little time off, so I wasn't really looking to go back to directing. Like, at some point I knew I was going to go back, but it wasn't until Ari and meeting Peter and getting the script for the Oak Room that I was like, okay, well, this is just something that needs to get made. And that's kind of how it happened. So it wasn't like intentionally, we didn't say, okay, let's take a break from doing the horror movies that we're doing and let's find the drama. It just, when a script that good comes around, it
just appeals to you.
Yeah.
And we even really questioned it. Like, we read it and it's like, Cody sent it to me. We read it back and forth and we were like, can we make this? Like, with our funding structures and the way that you know, we sell movies and get out to the world, is this like going to kill us that we do a movie that's like more of a drama? But even when we were done, it's like we had no idea. We were like, how do we, like, we know genre festivals, we know stuff. Is this even a genre movie? I don't know. So I mean, it's so exciting to get the responses that we got and hear like the reviews and things that have come back. We're really excited that it's kind of been accepted, and that, you know, at least we know we can kind of delve into this range too, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it works. It's a really, really strong film. RJ, Mr. Outerbridge, can you speak to what it was that attracted you to getting onto the project?
To the Holocaust.
Sorry, what was the question?
Is it?
What was the question?
Oh, I was asking if you can spespeak to what it was that
No,
attracted you to the project.
I didn't hear that. I didn't hear it. That's a sec. I didn't hear it again. What was it?
It was basically, I was just asking what it was that attracted you to the project.
There is two voices, by the way. Sorry, like you couldn't hear it, but I heard it. I think Peter knows what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
But anyways, I was attracted to it because Cody called me.
It's great when things are that simple.
I really like this.
Pretty much. I was out of work, you know, and they called me and said, "Hey, you want to do this
You're
movie?"
never out of work.
I'm in.
You're working more than anyone. That's crazy.
Okay.
I hear
what? So to be honest, what drew me to the project was first of all, Cody was kind enough to meet with me and not put me through the humiliating process of auditioning, and which never really happens in Canada. And so it was great. We had some coffee together and we talked, and I'd read the script, and I had been compelled from the beginning because Peter's script, like I said before, is so it's an actor's dream. It's actually an action movie where you never see any action. You hear about it, right? Which is kind of what growing up in a small town in Ontario is like. It's you go to the bar and somebody goes, "Oh, I got a great story for you," and you sit around and you listen, which is about the most primitive way of storytelling that you can think about, right? Like people sitting around a campfire and telling a great story.
Campfire tales.
And so I read the script and I was like, wow, this is so clever. This is so I don't know why nobody's thought of this before. So way to go, Peter. And it was sort of like, a guy walks into a bar and tells a story about a guy who walks into a bar who tells a story about a guy who walks into a bar, and then it all comes to head. And I thought, this is great. And I'm actually intrigued. I'm actually like, I'm excited. As I was reading the script, I was like flipping the pages. And I think that's what drew me to the script. And then Cody was kind enough to just say, yeah, he's a cool guy. Yeah, I'll hire him.
Excellent. Steph, you're back there. Do you want to talk about your approach to the soundtrack, to the score?
God damn it. Go.
Yes. Yeah.
We're gonna lose.
I had a fabulous time scoring this film. Cody knew exactly what he wanted, and he wanted my spin on it, which was fabulous because he basically gave me a guideline and then gave me free rein, which is maybe a little interesting to understand, but I felt very free. And the story was extremely elusive, and extremely masculine. So I ended up working with a violinist who gave me a lot of, I worked with when I began scoring the film, I laid a lot of foundation, and then I worked with a violinist who I knew could improv some really, really awesome stuff just based on a few story guidelines, like someone who I could just talk to and say, I go free. And then we built the theme based on a lot of the edits after the fact. And we had a lot of fun doing that. And the score is extremely, we aimed for elusive and masculine. If you want basic generic themes, those are the two themes: elusive and masculine. And inconclusive. We don't want to end anything.
Yeah.
We want to end
I think abstractly elusive and abstractly masculine, even to a point.
Yes. Those are the. That's where we went.
I feel it.
Well, it's really effective in the film. It creates a really beautiful ambience and texture.
The music is beautiful. Yeah,
it really is. Now, one thing to the group, one thing I really, really was taken by with this movie is,
where do I go?
What's that?
Sure. Is your son in the other room?
Oh yeah, guys.
Oh, sorry.
That's not my comment. They're basically commenting on what they're doing. Anyway. Welcome to COVID.
Yeah, exactly. The water's on a boil now. Hurry.
Yeah.
No problem. Sorry? Steph?
Should I bounce out of here? What?
Oh, no, it's okay. No, so yeah, one of the things that really impacted the film, we see so many Canadian films, particularly independent Canadian films, that try to either make themselves look like they can take place anywhere on the North American continent, or they try very, very, very hard to be specifically American, maybe without naming the particular city. But it's rare to see a film that's this unabashedly Canadian. And I just thought that was a beautiful thing. And I wanted to know if that was a deliberate choice from obviously it became a very concrete choice once you were in production, but was that a deliberate choice from the onset? Had it always been envisioned as being such a strong, dose of Canadiana? Right down to the incidental dialogue,
Well, I feel like people really responded to that, even back when it was a play. People really dug how Canadian it was and how it name dropped, towns and cities and Highway 11, and that's kind of what gave the piece its texture.
Yeah.
And I feel that that's kind of what you know, Cody connected with.
It's so much fun. And it's funny because you have many films that have snowstorms, but this doesn't feel like Colorado. This feels very Canadian.
Oh, absolutely.
And just lines like, it's a coaster. Is it? Are you sure it's not a fucking skidoo? You know what I mean? It is like quintessentially Canadian in the most awesome way. So yeah, congratulations on that. I just love it.
When we started location scouting, we actually went out and we started visiting all the bars that we grew up in.
Right, that makes sense. It reminds me of taverns I went to as a teenager.
So you use that as an excuse, did you, Chad?
And Cody had the best location scouts ever. No, but we traveled around and we actually visited like my hometown, Cody's. Like we went everywhere and we found all these bars that were so fantastic and so great. But being able to shoot in one of these dingy little bars is like, it has its limitations. And when we were done,
the owners of the bars have their limitations.
Yeah,
of course. Well, also, I mean, they'd have to lose their bread and butter for weeks and weeks, and most bars are struggling now more than ever. But even last year.
So we kind of sat back and like we kind of looked at each other and we were like, you know what? We know these bars more than anyone. I'm sure we can build one. Me and my dad build bars all the time. We built this one.
Everybody's drinking.
That's great.
One of my only talents aside from. So we were talking about it and we were like, why don't we bring Justin Rue in, our production designer, who is fantastic and amazing. No! We'll just like put it in and build these bars.
Cool. There's like some of the most insane background noise going on in one of your rooms.
It's Peter. It's Peter.
Is it all
man.
yes?
It's wild.
Is that your secret method to just have these crazy Mel Blanc type characters?
Look, I've got some serious gaming happening here. Okay, they cannot
like
keep quiet, so you have to understand.
Hey, whatever keeps you focused.
Is it really distracting? I mean, should I just like literally
bursts? Only an unexpected burst.
Okay. No cursing. No cursing.
Do you have a head? Do you have a like earpiece?
No.
Or
okay. Actually, by the way, one of the reasons why I signed on to this project was how Canadian this project was.
Yeah.
like. You know, I've done Australian films before, and they're very Australian. And like I've done like Mexican films before. Like there's like super Latin American Mexican films, and they tell me they're like, this is a Mexico City film. And you know, like that was one of the things I always liked, being able to work in something that's very encompassing in culture. Mm-hmm. And like that's full production, that's all based there, and that was something that's unique to stories that show more than just a story. It allows culture to escape that area, to educate others about that culture, that environment. And for me, I think that's something special, that films can do that and still be entertaining, and that's what we have here.
Thanks, RJ.
Something like that.
We rehearsed it. It went well, though.
Okay, on that note, let's open it to some questions from the audience. So to you out there, it's not the most naturalistic thing, but there is that Q&A button somewhere on your screen. Tap it, type things. We'll see them. We'll answer those things. So the first one from Sammy Ditz. How many times did you write and rewrite the script?
Right.
Oh, yeah. I presume we're getting a bunch of questions, so people are finding it.
Oh, so I hit the Q&A button and then I see the question.
No, you're good. I'm talking to the audience.
I'll just stop. Okay.
Yeah.
Is it somewhere around here?
Yes, exactly. Right. So how many times did you write and rewrite the script? That would be for Peter Genoway.
It's a good question. I did go through my archives of like the original drafts of the script. And the original draft was called Elk Lake and was dated 2010.
Wow.
So 3 years of writing that until it became a play. And then I think I met Cody in maybe 2017 or 2018. And I think we probably went through, I mean, I don't know, like many drafts, many revisions, a lot of ideas, new ideas were brought to the table that we incorporated. So I don't know, Cody, what do you think? Maybe like 5 drafts, maybe, in terms of the screenplay?
Yeah, maybe like around 5. But I mean, for me, the coolest part was it's still not that much different from the play that you wrote. Like, we did add stuff, but
It was a one actor, right?
Whatever drafts we went through, it's still like the essence of what it was. It's always been there, which is
And like when I met with Cody and we decided, if we wanted to work together. I mean, he said he liked the play, he believed in the play, he didn't want to change it. He just wanted to make it work for the screen, and that's what we did together.
There was a couple interesting. So there's a couple things that weren't in the play that were in the movie, like the ashes, like him coming trying to get his father's ashes.
Yes.
Also, Nicholas Campbell's scene, which is one of our fan favorites. It was a scene that was a totally different scene, and kind of we evolved more into like the father-son like element of the whole story. But it was just. It was really interesting to kind of see those scenes kind of come together and what changed. And I remember there was a moment on set after we shot the first 3 days, and Ari, who was in the play again, he was in the movie for the first 3 days in the actual Oak Room. I remember when we wrapped him, he came up to me and he was like a little dazed. He was kind of looking around, and I was like, dude, what's up? And he's like, I can't believe it's over. Like, I've learned these lines for almost 10 years. And I like produced this and everything. And he's like, we went in, we shot these like in and out, like 3 days. It was like 12, 15 pages a day kind of thing.
You know what? Ari's always a little dazed. He's always a little dazed.
Yeah, let's hear from Ari.
Because
Hey!
Ari, was it the same character that you played in the play and the film?
Say it again.
Was it the same character that you played in both the play and the film?
I mean, a lot changed in the, I think, 5.
I would think,
5 years, like essentially from 2013 to when we shot. So you can't not evolve with life. But like many people have already said before, the script was so solid. All props to Peter. That there was very little that needed to be sort of brought out of it. It was just you would dive into the script, you would dive into the character, and you would go from there. And then you would rely on Cody, and you would rely on your scene partner, and like the casting was just by far bang on. Like,
it's a perfect cast.
He can also be as modest as he wants. He's a producer on this film, and he's actually the reason why we're all here right now. So, welcome a hand to Ari Millen right now. And Peter Genoway, obviously.
Thank you for saying it was a perfect cast. I think all respect due to the original cast who played it on stage.
Hey.
Were any performances shot? Were any performances preserved for any kind of viewing? Are there versions on YouTube from any of the shows from the original one-act play?
That's Peter. Do you know anything about that?
No, nothing exists. It's vanished.
There's an archive. For sure, there's an archive from the Fringe.
No, it's gone.
It was all burned.
Yeah.
No, we really have to bring it back to the stage.
Oh, the original play.
We got to get another production.
I'm available.
I mean,
all right. So, question from Alicia. Peter, I loved your mean and hilarious sarcasm towards RJ's character. Did you burst out laughing a few times before getting those takes right?
Oh man, we laughed so much on that show. The thing that's great about these guys is that they've worked together for so long. They really are like a well-oiled Swiss watch, and it's a real family, and they're very comfortable with each other. And you never felt like if you made a mistake, someone was gonna like step up to you and get mad at you. It was just a great environment to work. So we laughed a lot. And yes, in answer to your question, yes, there were some times that I could not keep it together.
Excellent. How long did it take to shoot?
Is that to me?
Oh, that's to the group.
I think really that's a Cody question. How long you told me you shot like 6 months before filming other scenic shots?
They shot it in different segments.
That makes sense.
Shot everything, like all of the stories, like hitchhike story,
all the outdoor stuff.
exterior
There was
stuff.
like winter stuff. We shot in the actual winter, and then we shot the rest of the stuff in July.
Yeah, I think we shot it in November.
So we did. I think we did 3 days, and then we came back and we did like
March to
I would not have taken that for a summer shoot.
probably
18 days
Yeah.
in total. I think.
That's really tight.
Yeah.
Right on. So
One of the biggest challenges was actually trying to like once we got into these sets and knowing that the movie would actually take place in basically is like how do you keep it interesting the entire time? You know, not only the script and the acting and the
how is it dynamic and filmic?
like how do you keep that interesting for 90 minutes so that people will watch the entire film to get to the kind of ending and the reveal, right? So that was kind of like a constant talk between us and Jeff and everyone of like between art and everything was like that was one of the major challenges that we thought, do we make this movie or do we not make this movie? Like, can we achieve that with the budget that we have and the talent that we have? And by the end of it, we were like, you know what? I think we can. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see what people say tomorrow, I guess.
Oh, the reviews are going to be strong. Someone actually posted a full review in the Q&A box, which I'll read to you in the end because it's really a statement, not a question, but it's great. Spoiler alert, 8 out of 10. So Aaron Genoway, I'm not sure if there's a relation or not.
That's my aunt.
Oh, that's your aunt? Your aunt is with us tonight, sir. And she wanted to comment. I live in Saskatchewan and had a close relationship with Mallory Outerbridge as she was growing up in Regina. And Peter Genoway is my nephew. There you go. Very cool movie. I was a little worried I wouldn't be able to watch it because I don't like scary movies. Canadians like Grey Owl.
Yes, they do.
Anonymous
a statement or a question?
That was really a statement, but it just
that was really just that wasn't a question. That was just. But thank you and yes.
Thank you, Auntie Aaron.
Your aunt.
Yeah, and Peter and I had that conversation, and yes, we do know that connection. That's
right.
It's nice.
Can't wait to bring the movie to Regina.
Yeah, it's going to be big in Regina.
Big in Regina.
The enigmatically identified anonymous attendee asks, "What's the best interpretation of the ending of the film that you've heard so far?"
Ooh, I haven't actually heard an interpretation of the ending.
I think they're the first group.
I've been asked about my interpretation of the ending, but I haven't heard. Peter, what's your interpretation of the ending?
Oh, my lips are sealed.
Cody, what's RJ?
Oh, no, nothing.
Mitch?
Nothing from us.
Not going to venture there.
I have not heard an interpretation of the ending, so I can't answer the question.
And I mean,
you made a point through the entire film. It was
like
like,
the father of this film, Mr. Genoway. Although I don't think it's right to ask you that question. So
all I know is that when we actually shot that scene, I thought it was Chad coming there to fire me for doing such a bad job. Nobody told me like a silhouette was going to appear at the door, and I was like, "Oh shit, it's Chad."
Like, I don't care how many cokes you want in your green room.
All of them.
Tony Black would like to know, did you need to get a release from Molson for the Oak Room logo?
Oh, yeah, it is kind of
a little bit similar. I think it's just different enough that it probably passes.
Different enough, I think.
Yeah, let's go with different enough.
The official answer,
Cody, Chad?
The official answer is I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, let's just move on.
All right. Aaron also wrote in great movie separately. Daryl Hayes wants to know what was covered up in the basement. Just more of the dad stuff or something darker? I like the ambiguity of that. I mean, it's up to you if you want to answer.
Both.
Nope, let's move on.
Okay.
That one's great.
Those are those questions that are like the only way to answer them are watch the movie a couple more times and you'll have your own answer.
So Tanya mentions, you seem like a funny bunch. Did you have fun during filming? What was the best part for
No.
each of you? Do you have a funny story that happened during filming? So it's a multi-tiered question for y'all.
There are some funny stories from that film, shooting the film, but actually the funniest story is one that I wouldn't want to tell because it gives away one of the best moments of the film. So I'm not going to
In this
mention.
room, I think they've all seen it,
You
presumably.
can talk about the
I
story,
hope.
but just not say what the thing is. You can talk about the. Well, maybe you can't.
I can talk about the whole film.
No, you can talk about the moment.
Yeah, they've seen it.
Can I talk about the bat?
No, you can't talk about the bat.
Okay.
I think the funniest thing is that Peter never wore pants during the shooting.
That's true.
You were a trailblazer. This is how the world operates now.
I was behind
I
the bar.
forgot.
Why wear pants? Brando
forgot
didn't
about the
in
bat.
that film he did with Matthew Broderick, so why would I?
He's not
Yo,
wearing
Peter.
pants right now, by the way. Just
What?
I forgot about the bat.
that.
Yeah, don't say anything.
Want to talk about the bat? Talk about
Don't
the
talk
No,
about
no,
the bat.
no, but hey, you remember the one time I chilled in the freezer?
Fantasia, it's the world premiere. Peter, you should
What?
I mean,
talk about the bat.
I
Or the
can't.
freezer, which sounds like a good story.
I can talk about the bat. All right. So basically what happened was that Cody was shooting, well, we were all shooting the film in chunks, right? Because it is shot like a play. So we shot it in chunks. You know what? Here's all I'm going to say. Did it occur to anybody that the bat was missing until the very end of the film? That's the thing. Now,
I don't remember that sex.
I don't actually want to get into what happened, but what happened there was a very Canadian thing. And this is what Canadians are really good at in our industry, is that something happened, it was a problem, and we had to solve it. And we solved it. And we actually came up with a better solution, apologies, Peter, than what was actually in the script, which was we added something that actually added another little moment to the film. And that's what we do up here. We solve problems. We figure things out.
Fantastic.
For less than scale.
This is true. Almost always the case.
Oh, and COVID at the moment.
Will it be a series?
I've actually told these guys that they need to turn this into a franchise. It's a different bar, every movie, different characters, different bartenders, different story. Go for it.
There's so
I
many,
would.
there's so many different woods you can name bars after. You know, we can do.
There's
Yeah.
so many small towns and there's so much stuff happening and there's so many stories to tell that you could literally, you got to get on this, Peter.
so
Start
many
writing.
bartenders to kill.
I'm available.
See, we're all available. Well, I'm dead. Well, I might not be dead. I don't know.
Prequel.
I mean, you can play another role. But yeah. No, you can. I mean, if it's a series and it's episodic and it's disconnected.
It's the
Yeah.
movies. Anybody can do anything.
Peter, you can play your son in the sequel.
Sons of sons.
Okay, so we have to start wrapping, but if you could each tell us what would be, if you could choose one memory that you cherish the most of this production, what would it be?
I'll jump in there. Just so while everyone else thinks. There was actually a moment, and Peter Outerbridge is someone who we looked up to for a long time. He's done a million films. When we wrapped Peter, he actually had a speech, and we had worked so hard on this. We were all just destroyed. We were covered in rashes, and it was just
Covered in rashes.
so hard on making this movie.
They were literally covered in blood.
Yeah, it was so hard. But at the end of it, Peter had this speech, and I won't say much of it at all, but it was something that very, very special from an experienced actor who was, Canadian, and he's been through the ringer or whatever. He said something that changed us for a long time, where he was like, this level of filmmaking where this is right now is where you want to stay forever.
I absolutely agree, and I believe that still to this day.
He was above and below, whatever. He was there's something so special about this. And I'm not going to put words in your mouth, so I'll probably stop talking right now. But it was really heartfelt to know that someone who had done so many films, so many projects, had just something passionate to say like that. RJ said another thing very, very similar to it. And I think me and Cody went home and we kind of hugged each other and we were like, I don't know. I had fun. You had fun. I don't know. Is this different? I don't know. We never go on we're never on sets. We're never on different movie sets. We don't know what movie sets are like.
You're always doing your own thing. Yeah, you have so many productions going. It's true.
So it was really, really special to hear both their thoughts, RJ and Peter's, about how the production went. And I don't know. It was.
You guys have something so special going on with your company that you would never need to change that formula. You don't need to learn anything else. You need to just keep doing what you're doing. And if you go out and you'll just get poisoned. Like what you're doing right now is absolutely 100%. That's what filmmaking should be. Don't
fix it if it's not broken. I definitely agree. That's one of the things about this project that really made it so special is the work ethic, but the family, the community.
Huge favor.
Like it really was one of those things that really just came together. And this wasn't it. There was a lot of dialogue. There was a lot of pages. There was a lot of setups and different angles, and like they made it but they made it work in the space they had. The setups were massive setups and like bar changes and like all these just flipping the set. It's something that if you don't have the right team of people to support you, it makes it hard. It makes it almost impossible. And that was something from the story to the crew to the cast. Everything working with Peter was just a privilege to be able to work with someone on that like level that cared about the project. Everyone cared. Everyone enjoyed it. And people were just there. It wasn't like you're dealing with people on their phones or they're working to that next project. I mean, everyone is. But when you're there and like everyone's attentive and has intent to finish it and to do it right, can't beat that.
Yeah, and I absolutely agree with what RJ just said. And it's not that up here in the north when we work on shit we don't complain about it. We do, but you get it done, right? There's an expression up in Canada which is pitter patter, let's get at her, and that's really kind of the work ethic that entire crew and the entire production company has, which is, yeah, we've come down with a rash and we're bleeding and these hours are ridiculous and we're gonna make this. We're gonna make this.
That was just Chad though.
What?
I said that was just Chad.
What do you mean?
The bleeding and the rashes.
Well, that's one person. That's enough people. If one person has a rash, RJ, that's enough.
Oh, it's enough.
I'm allergic to sawdust.
Rashes can spread. Rashes can spread.
Hey, that's where we got gloves now and masks.
Remember, up here in Canada, we believe in science, right?
Yo, in America, don't worry about it. Put some Neosporin on
it. Excellent. And Peter Genoway.
My favorite memory.
Sorry?
Yeah, I do have a favorite memory of this project. This was my first feature film, so it was exciting. It was a big deal for me, and both Chad and Cody were so open and generous during the whole experience, and they said I could drop by the set at any time. So for me, the most exciting moment was just showing up on set one day and seeing, there were trailers and trucks, and there was a lot of activity, and everyone was there for this.
And these incredible actors saying your words.
Yeah, this was a project that I had written, so it was really exciting to see that everyone had come together. This thing that just started out as an idea in my head.
That's beautiful. Well, thank you very much, everybody.
Is it $1 a month?
And to the audience, it's important to mention this: you were the first audience in the world to see this film. Please get the word out. It's important to promote and really support resourceful independent Canadian filmmaking because there's less and less of it these days. And yeah, I know that you all loved it. I've been getting all kinds of great texts and notes. So let the universe know how you feel right now. Thank you very much. Good night, everyone. Congratulations on making a truly remarkable film. And best wishes. Have a good night.
Thank you, Mitch.
Thank you.
Thank you for happening this year. I know it wasn't easy. Thank you.
It wasn't, but it's always worth it. All right. Be well, everyone.